I have a dream, oh, I have a dream. Red, white, and blue, fly free, fly free. I believe, oh, I believe. Will you dream with me?
Good morning, everyone out there. Welcome to Changing Times. This is Wednesday, August the 3rd. It's going to be an extremely hot day out there again. You know, I've been the weatherman now for several weeks in a row, and we're going to have really hot weather, but I don't really care now. Who cares? I won my election last night, so I want to thank everyone out in the Christian County area that helped me win a big election last night for presiding commissioner. And we feel really good about that. We're excited, and we're going to make Christian County a better place to live and raise a family and work and retire and own a business. And so really good. So enough for that. I tell you what, this is show number 70. And you see that we don't have Don Blackard here, our regular co-host, and she's got another assignment today down in Arkansas. And so she's down in Arkansas, but she will be back next week. And I didn't have time to get a co-host, either Louie or Faith. I didn't have time. I just thought about that last night about 9 o'clock. And so too busy campaigning this last week. But we've got a great show lined up today. We're live at the Axe Media Group's headquarters in Springfield, Missouri. And this show, people say, well, what is solar energy about? Why is it an issue that you want on your show? Well, I think it's a real social problem. I think it is a social issue. I think our utility bills are extremely involved in social issues. If you can't afford to pay your utility bills, then you're going to have problems. And we see what the cost of living is today. And I just met and this is how God works. I met a great gentleman last week, and Josh, he's your kind of developmental.
Yeah, in charge of commercial industrial development.
Yeah, so I met Josh last week and at a chamber, Ozark chamber meeting. I always try to go to all the chambers around the county, and Josh was there. First time I'd met him. And we got to talking, and that's how you network and find out who these important people and things that are going on in your area. So we're being seen right now in all 50 states, and we're seen worldwide. These guys are in Missouri, and you say Arkansas?
Yep.
Arkansas. So we're only in 2 states. But hey, listen to Will, because I'm telling you what, everybody needs to know more about solar. And he's going to be able to give you some great information today, and we appreciate you being involved in our show, either listening or watching or both today, and so we appreciate that. But I'm going to go ahead and get started here. So we've got Will Cox. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I appreciate you, Will. We've had a little bit of time to get to know each other just a while ago, about 15 minutes, and I appreciate that. And you are the president and CEO of Solera.
Correct.
Energy.
Yep.
And you are a football player. I can tell that. He's a football player for MU, University of Missouri, and now he's got 2 boys. So I'm sure you want them to be football players too, don't you?
Yeah, I'm retired. I retired before I got a chance to play for MU.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
okay.
I was never extended an offer, nor did I walk on. So
okay.
I went to school there temporarily.
Okay. Well, I love that school. I graduated from University of Missouri in pharmacy school.
Awesome.
So I love University of Missouri, and I love all their campuses and things like that.
I didn't have a very long stint there. So
okay. Well, I tell you what, and you got something coming up, I think, too, right? You were saying that you wanted to do a shout out today.
Yeah. Hey, happy anniversary, 10 years tomorrow, to my wife, Jenny. So
Jenny. Okay. Oh, happy anniversary, Jenny. Thanks for putting up with this guy. And I'm sure you guys are doing great. And 10 years is a good milestone.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, we've got our 40th wedding anniversary coming up August 11th.
Right.
So we're just 8 days away from Alaska cruise for
Awesome.
2 weeks. And so we're really looking forward to that. It's going to be much different weather than I've been campaigning in 100-degree weather the last several weeks. And it's going to be much better.
Yeah, especially with the wind. So it makes the show better and make the anniversary better. So congratulations.
So let's talk a little bit about Solera Energy. What is Solera Energy, and kind of give me a little history about that.
So Solera is the largest provider of solar in Missouri and Arkansas. We got 3 phases to our business. We got the residential, commercial, and then the utility scale, which is actually how we got in to solar to begin with. My partner, Mark Gardner, syndicate tax credits for low income housing, the LIHTC business. And he made that switch from the LIHTC business to solar, which is, he is the owner and operator of all the solar farms, or majority of solar farms in Missouri. You're familiar with the solar farm in Nixa,
Yeah.
which provides, I think, 11-12% of the power at the time to the city of Nixa. And so from there, we moved into the residential and commercial sector, where we've been doing that for the last 5.5 years. So we've installed more solar, own and operate more solar than every other company in the state, really combined. So it's been great for us, and it's more needed now than ever.
Will, I wish, but I have to admit, because I've been campaigning 12, 16 hours a day and still trying to work at the courthouse, I wish we had a picture of the solar farm at Nixa, or some of the things that you do, because honestly, for everybody listening out there, if you've never seen a solar farm, it's just like a science. To me, it's like stepping into a science fiction world. I mean, you see all this equipment, and it does. To me, it looks like science fiction.
Yeah.
But you're generating all that energy, all that electricity, and it, for the Nixa, Missouri area that it serves, it has kept their utility rates down. And while all the rest of us, probably in the country, have had really high increases in your electric rates, the area around Nixa have not had increases in their rates. They've been able to maintain a steady rate, and it hadn't gone up. And so I think it shows you exactly why areas need solar.
Yeah, it's the cheapest form of generating electricity.
Yeah.
Period. So it's been able to do wonders in the utility market there for the customers that it serves, because they're just getting it for cheaper than they would from other resources.
Well, and Will, think about it. We all traveled all around the country, and you see those the wind turbines,
Yep.
and you see them really moving sometimes. Okay, and they're really going fast, and they're generating electricity too. But someplace like in Missouri and several states, they don't have that wind.
Correct.
And so, but most everybody has the sun.
Right.
I don't know any state that, in certain areas in any state, that the sun wouldn't be shining down.
Correct. And that's a big part of the models that we put together. Anytime that we do a residential home, commercial, or utility scale project like that, we're using weather data from the last 50 years. And we can tell you relatively close over the next 40 years, because panels last 40 to 50 years. That's what a lot of people don't realize, is they will continue to work long after the warranties run out, which is 25 years. We're pretty confident. I mean, within tens of days that we can say, hey, we know we're going to get X amount of sunshine, X amount of cloudy days, X amount of rainy days over the next 40 years, and be confident in our projections in order to meet the numbers that a city would need, or to get an appropriate and confident return from a residential or business owner.
How much storage batteries? I mean, so I can see that. I mean, how many solar panels do you have out there in Nixa?
It's 11 megawatts.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's
that's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at 80 acres of nothing but solar panels.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's why I wanted the folks to understand 80 acres of all these panels. It does look like science fiction world. And so you're generating all this energy. Now you don't use it, all of it in one day, do you?
Yeah, so that's in front of the meter generation. So that goes directly into the substation and goes out to where it's necessary. So that's kind of the next frontier in solar, is the battery storage. So when it comes to the technology behind solar itself, it's been the same for years. Obviously, hey, we're using the sun to generate electricity and create electrons, and it ends up powering what it needs to power. The battery storage is really the next frontier as far as, hey, how can we harness all this energy? How can we hold it? How can we keep it? It's made significant strides, but you're seeing a lot more money go into research and development side of utility scale battery storage capabilities.
Yeah, I could see that, Will, that it's easier probably to pull in that sun and generate that energy to get the utility, but the battery is really the important component, because if you can store it when you don't need it, and then you need it on a cloudy day, then
it's a whole different animal. And that's why we say, hey, we need all forms of energy.
Yeah.
I mean, we need solar.
Yeah.
We need fossil fuels.
Yeah.
We're not there yet. We're just not there yet. Be able to turn a switch on and go all solar. So in those times where you're not generating the electricity that you need, you have to be able to produce electricity in some form or fashion. And that's where the fossil fuels step in.
Right. I'm not against any of the new green energy things that people talk about, but as you do it, you should be phasing it in wisely, not just abruptly stopping everything that we've got today and making everybody pay so much for gasoline and energy costs. I've got a propane heater for my swimming pool. Propane's gone up a lot. Luckily, I haven't had to use my heater very much since summer really got here, because it's been so hot every day, so we don't have to use a heater. But there's been summers when I've had to use my propane heater, and the propane used to be cheap, and now it's higher. So I think a combination of being smart with green and being smart with the fossil fuels that we have is just really great. And it would be great if we produced enough like we did, where we sold it to other countries, and we kept our energy costs down. But that's a different story. So let me ask you this. So we're talking about benefits and challenges. So with solar energy, what would you tell people benefits and challenges?
Well, benefits are overwhelming. I mean, if it works, and when I say if it works, we know it works. What is the setup of the business or the home? If there's shading issues, obviously it's not going to work. If you don't have enough roof space or enough land space for ground mount, then it's not going to work. Your home would not be a fit for solar. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the reason I got into solar was because of freedom of choice. Mm-hmm. You can pick who does your trash, who does who your internet provider is, who mows your grass. You can't pick your utility company.
No.
So being able to essentially own your power. And so all you're doing, listen, we all have a power bill. It always goes up and never, ever goes away.
No. And
so by making a shift towards solar, you're able to own your power for the same or less than you're already spending. So you get a 26 to 30% federal tax credit that you're able to apply towards a loan. From a residential standpoint, you're taking over control of your utility. Instead of paying this that always goes up, never ever goes away, I'm going to pay for this, have green energy for the same or less I'm spending right now, and it increases the value of my home, and I get a tax credit. When it comes to businesses, for a business, a lot of times their largest expense is their cost, especially farmers, is their cost for utilities.
Right.
So you're able to get tax credit, you're able to get depreciation. And when we are putting together the benefit analysis for a business owner, we're looking between a 4 and 7 year payback period. So in 4 to 7 years, you're a business owner, you can own your power. You own your power, you're able to get a double-digit return on your investment. You get the maker's modified accelerated cost recovery system or bonus depreciation. You get the tax credit. You now go from something you're renting to something that you're owning. So financial benefits are there, and it's inflation proof. Instead of, we're all dealing with it right now.
Right.
Instead of my bill and the amount of money that I'm spending for electricity continue to go up year after year after year, I put a stop to it. Now, challenges, especially in this area here, we run into an educational gap. Thank God we're not in California, but if in California, it's a much more technical sale. Here, a lot of times, people the preconceived notion that solar is strictly a liberal wish list or a liberal desire, not understanding that, hey, this is a completely bipartisan issue. You're talking about green energy, renewables, helping with climate change, but you're also talking about small business, jobs, freedom of choice, being able to secure yourself financially. So there's a big educational gap and preconceived notions that as a business owner are challenges that we face. Another challenge that we've had in the past is being able to finance deals for underserved sectors of our business.
And that's one of the things you guys specialize in.
Correct. So if you are, we just started on the largest solar project for a public school in the history of Missouri down at Sarcoxy.
Yeah.
So it's going to save the school district $4 million over the next 25 years. Before we were in a situation where they would not get a good return. It would be a poor investment for them because they're unable to utilize the tax credit and depreciation that a normal business owner would get because they're a non-for-profit. They're a school. They don't pay any taxes, so they can't utilize the tax credit. They can't utilize the depreciation, so they would have to come up out of pocket with a tremendous amount of money. Our schools are strapped for cash.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
them being able to take several $1 million just in the hopes of going green, it sounds great. It doesn't work. So we were able to come in, and we call it SSA, Solar Service Agreement, where we're able to give them a 15% reduction on their utility rate that they're currently paying, lock in that rate, and they're able to have the savings each and every year. So as their normal utility bill would continue to go up at 4 to 5% a year, we lock them in at a certain rate with a much lower escalator. They're able to go green, and it saves the school district a tremendous amount of money. So it helps the school district, and from the kid's standpoint, it's a living laboratory. That's what's important to kids. If you look at the Keystone XL pipeline, it was shut down in one day. What were all those workers told? Hey, go get a job in renewables. Well, they've only known one thing for years.
Right.
That's important now, is being able to have it hands-on. They want, in solar, you have engineering, you have master electrician, you have lead installers, people making a lot of money by learning this craft. And so the kids are able to take advantage of that. So with us being able to facilitate the tax credit and syndicate it for these schools, we're now able to overcome that hurdle of them not being able to reap the benefits of the tax credit. And there's no capital expenditure as well. So, those are challenges. It all comes down to finance.
Yeah.
Hey, if going solar costs me more money, does it make sense? For most people, it's a no. But because of us being able to syndicate the tax credit for the school district, for the church, we're able to put them in a cash flow positive.
Well, that
situation.
sounds like a good deal. I'm glad Sarcoxy. So that's the first school system in Missouri.
It's the largest, yeah.
Largest. And so I applaud them for that. And I'm hoping, because that's going to save the school system, which actually saves taxpayers and the state of Missouri, because they're our two biggest funders for the school systems. And we love public schools. We support public schools. But hopefully maybe they can save some money and pay teachers a little bit more money too, because I am definitely for paying teachers more money.
Yep.
I think they're so important to teaching our children, our next generational leaders of our and citizens of our country, that I have so many friends that are teachers, and I appreciate what they do. I appreciate all the teachers I've had, and and where I am today because of the education that I was given. So we want to do that. Let me ask you a question about even like my house. So we talked about the school, and I know you do some like government too. So, but how about homes? So how about a 2,000, 3,000 square foot home?
Mm-hmm.
What would the approximate cost be on something like that? I know it's kind of hard, but just a ballpark.
So we look at it from a monthly standpoint. So if you have a $200 a month electric bill,
Okay.
what we know is you're spending $24,000 in the next 10 years, no matter what. If it never goes up again, it's going to spend $24,000. So that system, after your tax credit, will come in on that size system, will come in $24,000, $30,000, $38,000, but it's set up over 20 or 25 year payments. So instead of, if you're coming out paying cash, you're looking at about what you're spending over the next 10 to 15 years in utility bill. If it's finance system, which 95% of our systems are, we look at on a monthly basis. So if your utility bill averages $200 a month, your solar bill will be $190 to $210. Okay. So your solar bill is $190 to let's say it's just $200 even. So you pay $200 for solar. This utility bill that you had before is offset. Okay. So you're paying the same as you were before. The difference is that $200 you're paying for solar, that's locked in.
Yeah. So the sun's not going to increase the price on you, is it?
It's not going to increase the price.
So that's a pretty good deal. Well, I tell you what, it's time to take a break. I'm going to talk about 3 sponsors, and then we're going to be right back with Will, the president of Solera. I tell you what, it's really interesting. We got a lot more questions to go, so don't go away. I want to talk to you about 3 sponsors that make our show go. Still looking for a couple more sponsors. We only have room. We don't want more than 5 sponsors to make sure that we don't take away from our program, but these sponsors are extremely important. The first one is Brad Pisto, certified financial fiduciary planner in Ozark, Missouri. Just an amazing man. So if you're thinking about retiring anytime soon, or even when you're young, it's never too late to start thinking about retirement. And he is one of the top financial advisors in the United States, happens to be right there in Christian County, Ozark, Missouri. Get a pencil and paper. I'm going to give you his telephone number. When you call this number, Lisa or Hunter is going to answer the phone, and he's licensed in several states, but he has friends in all 50 states. He goes around the country speaking. He's published 2 books, and we're going to talk about that. So when you call the number 417-581-9222, 581-9222, they're going to hook you up and send you all kinds of information. They'll send you a book called Safe Money Matters. That's his first book, #1 best-selling Amazon retirement book. The second book he published in December when Dawn published her first book is called Bulletproof. And it's just a continuation of a lot of great information. I will tell you, all my retirement money is with Brad Pisto. And right now, with the stock market, yesterday it went down 450 some points. I lost no money. I didn't lose $1. Okay, so when the stock market goes down, I lose nothing. I've not lost anything during this whole downturn of the stock market. Yes, it's gone up and down, but it's still way down compared to what it was. So actually, he's got some great plans. And he will help you. So he's in Ozark, Missouri, and he's just a great guy to talk to. It doesn't cost anything to talk to him and get advice. And so I highly recommend Brad Pisto. And his son, Hunter, also sells Medicare insurance and also sells securities. So they just can take completely care of you on any of your financial needs. The second sponsor that we have is Youngblood Motor Group in Springfield, Missouri. 43 plus years, family owned. My last 2 Grand Cherokees come from these guys, and my next car will be too. And great service, great prices, it's just great people. And they're located in Springfield, Missouri on South Campbell. And their telephone number is 882-3838. So 417-882-3838. The interesting thing about these guys, they're the only one that has this guarantee, 72-hour guarantee. You don't have to go to the dealer's lot and face this hot sun and work with a salesman. If you want to do everything online, you can trade your car online. You can buy your car online. You can finance your car online. You never have to go to the dealer. They'll bring the car and deliver it to your driveway. You got 72 hours. Put your wife in the passenger seat, put the kids in the backs, put the seatbelts on, put the dog in the trunk area, the open area back there, your luggage. Drive around. Just mess with it for 3 days. If you don't like that car, they'll bring you another car. Who does that? Nobody, because they're the only ones that does that. They sell and cars, they lease cars. They've got a great used car lot right across the street on South Campbell, and they've got about 250 cars that are used. A lot of people are buying used cars today. A lot of theirs are certified used cars, and it's really good. And Will, they've got, you'll like this. They've got they specialize in Nissan Kia cars, and so they've got a Nissan car that just he was sitting right there, and John Whittaker, and he told me about this. I wasn't really interested in buying an electric car. I don't have the time to go find a charging station. Okay. So I don't know how it's going to work when they get more and more electric cars and they got all these charging stations. I'm usually just barely get to my appointments as it is. So I don't have time to figure out charging stations and even having one at the house. But here's what he does. He's got a car that actually has a generator in it. So now it's running down the road, averages 55 miles per gallon, and it runs down the road on electric. When the power gets down to about 15%, it converts over to gas. You never know it. Now you're still driving down the same road with gas. Now the generator is kicked in and it's recharging the battery. When the battery gets charged back to 100%, then it just automatically converts back to electric again and just keeps going down the highway. And they never have to stop at a charging station. And I raised my hand and I said, hey, that sounds more like for me. That's the kind of car I'd like to have. Not saying if I'll ever get one, but I may. That's the kind I would get. So John Youngblood Motor Group, a tremendous group in town. Our third sponsor, and he's actually a co-host of ours when Don's not here. My fault that I didn't get Louis today. And but he's a realtor in Ozark, Missouri. It's called The Firm, FIRM. And Louis Michael is just a tremendous man. And the firm is run by the Parham family. That's just a great, great family. They've been in Christian County for a long, long time. Louis Michael specializes in selling homes and people help people buy homes. He's just a tremendously hard worker, and he's an Elvis impersonator. He won a contest with 250 contestants in Nashville, Tennessee, back when the Elvis impersonators were going on. He won that contest. He's traveled all over the world, being the front acts of many, many top shows in Vegas and everywhere else. He really, really sounds like Elvis. He jokes and said he used to look like Elvis with a jumpsuit and everything like that. You know, we get a little bit more spread out as we get older, but he's got the voice. He actually has the voice and a tremendous guy. And if you buy a house or sell a house with Louis Michael, he's going to do a concert. You can have a backyard party, get to invite all your friends and neighbors over, get to meet everybody. He'll put you on a really good show. And so you can reach Louis Michael at 417-988-1086, 417-988-1086. Look, we've had Louis on before because he's one of the guys that, like a lot of people in this country, have had some depression, some anxiety disorders and things, and so he almost committed suicide. He will tell you the story that he had a gun to his head down at Busey Park, a little park close to between Ozark and Branson, and almost took his life. And now he has a nonprofit called Choosing to Live, and he wants everybody to know the value of your life is valuable. He wants everyone to choose to live. And so we help him in his organization. So we applaud Louis Michael, we applaud Brad Pisto, and we applaud John Youngblood and John Whittaker. So that's our sponsor. So we'll get right back to the show again. And I think the next thing I want to talk about is anything else about the Sarcoxy project before we go on to something else?
No, it's a great partner to have. Phil, superintendent, and the school board, for them to have the vision. When a lot of people hear solar, and that's one misconceptions we deal with. Right. They don't think Sarcoxy, Missouri.
Right.
And so for them to have the foresight.
Pretty small town.
Yeah, it is. Being able to have the foresight, and actually it came from one of our lead installers. His kids go to school there and saw the benefit, wanted to be more, do more. And so it's for them having the vision and foresight to see the benefits and move forward says a lot about their leadership.
Okay, well, let's talk about this kind of down my alley a little bit, political and economic things that are kind of driving the industry. What's going on about those?
Yeah, so that the solar tax credit has certainly helped the industry, and there's a lot of different energy sources that get different government subsidies. For us, the 26% tax credit used to be 30%. Now 26% is going to go back up to 30. Has been a major driver.
Yeah, that should help in the installation costs.
And then working with Eric Burleson, Senator Burleson, during his time, he really championed our cause. I mean, he looks at a lot of the utility systems as socialized energy. I mean, here's what you're getting. You're paying for it no matter what. And if they double it, you're either going to live like Little House on the Prairie, or you're going to get another job. I mean, you have to have them. So he put in a couple bills that have really helped us out here in Missouri. Number one is not having to pay sales and use tax on the equipment, which allows us to become more competitive, be able to lower the prices, and allow our customers, regardless of their size, to see better returns. And the other is HOAs, homeowner associations, starting January 1st, are not able to prohibit solar. So it's a choice. So both of those bills were passed into law. Governor Parson signed them into law last month. We went up there for the signing. And so those have helped our position tremendously. And it's been great to see a lot of the politicians get behind it and support the cause.
Well, there's a lot of things going on. When I was serving from 2012 to 2020, the only two major, and I was talking to you about this before the show, we had, they were sponsored by Democrats, I think. I don't think there was a Republican that sponsored this, but they actually wanted to tax. They wanted to tax some of your savings on the solar.
Yeah.
And of course, we voted it down twice. We had to do it twice, but that was the whole purpose, is we're trying to get families to save on their utility costs, and they're actually wanting to take part of the savings and charge a tax for the state of Missouri. And that I haven't seen any tax that I really like yet. So,
no.
so I really fought that. And I if I had been in government last year, I would definitely, in 21, I would have been supporting, co-sponsoring those bills. Those are very important bills, and we don't want to go backwards. You guys are evolving, and the industry is evolving, and we don't need roadblocks in there. So praise to Eric Burleson, and now soon to be hopefully Congressman Burleson. We appreciate that. He and I sit on the front row. Every year that I served with Eric, we sat on the front row, and there was only one lady between our desk. And so we always would confer back and forth on bills and things like that. He was a good mentor to me, and because he was in there before I was. And so I did serve with him 4 years, though. So that's good. So let's talk about residential solar again. So, I've got a tile roof.
Yep.
So does tile roofs present more problems, or
they
not?
present more problems?
Do they?
And that's what we do. I mean, it has to make sense. I mean, it's just something that we don't, the industry hasn't adopted that very well. I mean, that's an important thing about setting up an appointment and getting a home analysis. We look to make sure that you're spending enough, it's going to make sense for you from a financial standpoint, but that site survey is extremely important as well. How far are we trenching? Where's the system going? What type of roof is it? How old's your roof? How long you be on the home? There's a lot of things. A lot of people just drive by, see solar up on the roof. There's a lot of
that went on before that.
A whole lot that went on before that.
Yeah, you better hope that the company has done it.
Right, and we've been able to do it for 11 years. We're the best at what we do, and it's all about our number one God taking control of this company long ago and turned over to Him, but also our people. We have the best at what we do. Our Chief Operations Officer, Ryan MacDonald, is the best in the industry. There's nobody better. We have 2 master electricians on staff, a guy named Al Vorse, and then a gentleman that just came on board. We're really excited about this, named Lee Beeman, owned Beeman Electric. So he came on board, and all of our people, from our installers to our engineer to master electrician. They're the best at what they do. So it is very important in order to find the right company. So that's one of the challenges that we have right now is you've got somebody that is here today and gone tomorrow. And so we call them solar orphans. We get calls once a day. Hey, I was with this company, they installed our system and they've gone out of business, because you're looking at a very high gross ticket item. But the margins are what they are. I mean, you're looking at single digit margins. So you've got a lot of people just don't understand business. Unfortunately, they get in, they install solar and they're gone. And so it's really difficult to go back and work on another company's abandoned system, because we're dealing with electricity. And so we take on the responsibilities and of the changes that we make. And if they didn't use the right wire size, we're looking at a tremendous amount of money, and it's risky for us. So it's important that the customer if it makes sense for your home to go solar, if it passes a site survey, you need to make sure that you pick the right company, because your warranty on the system, the panels, the racking, the inverter, most companies have a 25-year warranty on all three of those. Your warranty is only as good as the company that installs it. So where we're different is, it's a very transactional business. My company's values I'm only as valuable as however many jobs I have in the pipeline. So if those dry up, what's the company left with? What we've been able to do is really diversify ourselves. 30% of our revenue comes from the solar farms, the solar service agreements, where the city of Nixa is buying their power from us over the next 20 years. That's a form of our revenue. Our operations maintenance contracts on those projects, the different solar farms that we have, Sarcoxy. And then lastly, the remaining third of our revenue comes from the residential and regular business installations of solar. So we've been able to diversify ourselves, unlike anybody else has, to be able to make sure that we're here for not just the past 11 years, but another 11 years ahead of us.
So right here in Missouri, I from what I know, what I've researched before you came on the air, you would be a great person, your company would be a great person to have you come out and check and see if it's doable in their home or their business. And so I would highly recommend that. I don't do that unless I've already done some research on the company. So I've already looked up your company and stuff like that. So going back to my house again, because I know there's other homes with tile roofs, maybe not that many, but it is possible, right? I've seen some tile roofs with solar systems.
Yeah, it's possible. It's something that we made a conscious decision to stay away from. Yeah.
Okay, well, so dadgum, I wouldn't be able to use you guys then, but I always worried. I thought, well, I don't have a house that leaks. Yeah, I know I've had friends that said they had bad roof jobs, and so their home leaks. And they got a beautiful home, but they got water coming in when it rains real hard. And I thought, well, it seems like I got a perfect house inside. I'd hate to have those beautiful tiles destroyed and solar panels put up there, and then it leaks or something like that. So I imagine that's probably one of the issues.
Yeah, we don't want to break tiles. We're not. We are as good as we are because we stick to the basics, blocking and tackling. Yeah. We're in solar. Yeah. We're not in roofing. Yeah. And so,
and for the people who've never had tile, there's a certain place you walk on the tile, because if somebody's up there fixing your, got several fireplaces, if they're walking the wrong place, they crack the tile and then you can have leaks. Yeah. And so, so we've learned something there, but so they can, so how are they going to, you had some great facts today, information today, but how can people find out more about Solera?
So you can go to soleraenergyllc.com, go to our website on there. There's a contact us form, or they can call us at 417-771-5817.
771
5817.
5817. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not something for the future. It's definitely now. Yeah. It never hurts to look if it doesn't make sense for a homeowner or business owner. It's something that we're very forthright with the customer and letting them know, hey, solar is great, it just doesn't make sense for you. And
well, let me ask you this, Will. So we know utility costs have gone up and
Right.
up and up. They're not going to go down.
No.
The electric rates are not going to go down, I don't think. Okay, so they've gone up. Now, so how about the cost of material? Has it gone down some?
Well, it went down each and every year for a decade.
Okay.
The pandemic hit and they started to go back up. Now they're going to level back off. The financing has come down to a point in time where it makes sense. So really right now in the next year is kind of that perfect spot if somebody's going to go solar, especially I know that you have a lot of farmers that listen to this as well. I mean, that's a lot of times a farmer's number one expense is their utilities. And so we deal with a lot of chicken farmers that are able to get various grants. But, whether you're a farmer or a business, you're able to get, because of the 30% tax credit and because of the depreciation, you're able to get 50, 60% of the system paid off in year one. And so you're looking at 5-6 years, your utility bill is either completely offset or the vast majority of it's offset, and you're able to have more money to the things that matter. So you're right.
Well, Will, tell me this. So is it pretty easy for farmers and people, families to go to the bank and get a loan on this? I mean, this is an asset that's going to increase the value of their house.
Yep.
And it's also going to make their house more valuable because it's going to lower their their utility bill.
Right.
So do most banks, is that where they go to?
Yep.
Is just a traditional bank where they have their banking account?
For businesses and farmers, absolutely. They go, and the bankers have a much better understanding of solar now than they had, 5-10 years ago. They look at it as something that they're already buying it. You're already buying solar. You're just coming from the grid right now. So they're able to look at it as not an additional cost. It's replacing what you're already spending. So if you're a business or a farmer, dealing with the bank has gotten a lot easier. From a residential homeowner standpoint, we take care of the financing.
You have your own financing?
Have our own financing. So you're looking at rates between 1.49 and 2.99%.
Wow.
So it truly is a solar switch. Instead of paying this for my utility bill, it always goes up, never goes away, gives me no value whatsoever. I can pay this money towards a solar system, increase value of my home, and be able to eliminate inflation from my life, which is important.
So the feds keep raising their interest rates, but you guys haven't raised your interest rates yet?
Not yet.
So I would highly recommend. So that phone number is 417-771-5817.
That's it.
Somebody from your office is going to answer the phone, and
Yep.
they're going to get somebody to come out and check their house out,
Yep.
right?
Just let us know that you heard us on the show today. And we'll get you taken care of.
Be sure, I tell you what, be sure and do that plug. I mean, if you saw this show today and you're in Missouri, if you're in another state, find another reputable company like Solera, because that's what you've got to do. I think a lot of people could justify this and actually save some money. So, So I think that's great. Any last comments? We're going to run out of time.
Congratulations again.
Well, I tell you what,
we know you're going to serve the community well. So
yeah,
appreciate you having on us.
We are actually excited. We're going to do some great things in Christian County, and it's just a great place to live. And I'm extremely proud. 13 races in a row I've won after I lost my first race by 108 votes a long time ago. And so taking down signs this afternoon, honk if you see me, because I'm going to be taking down signs all the way across 700 miles of roadway between Christian County, and just honk when you see me, because it's going to be fun taking down signs when you win.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we'll be back next Wednesday at 9 a.m. Thanks for listening and watching today. Have a great week.
Stays free under God, not tyranny. That's what it means to really dream. 1, 2, 3. Can I get a hoorah from a page?